What are your thoughts on Gettr? I've heard mixed things. I joined Gettr last July
Oh,
when I
did
feel
you
like
get hacked?
no, I didn't get hacked. I joined it and then like never really posted to it. But Gettr
Okay.
got a lot of information, got a lot of attention recently when Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a Republican from Georgia, she was booted from Twitter, and then that caused a lot of people to turn to Gettr, to sign up for
Mm-hmm.
Gettr. And I think I've never been on Gab, but
Nick Fuentes is also not allowed to make a page on Gettr. Several people are already being banned or censored on Gettr for saying certain things. A lot of people have reached out to me because I work for a social media networking company, which we'll get into fairly soon. But Gettr essentially is at fault for not sticking up to their word. They're not they're not fighting censorship. They're not honest with the amount of numbers
Mhm.
people are following there. So if you look at Joe Rogan on Gettr, it says he's got 8 million followers. Now, Gettr doesn't even have a few million people using their platform. But Joe Rogan, essentially what they did was they copy pasted his tweet following and just pasted the number onto his Gettr page, which should not be allowed, in my opinion, because that's false advertising to the amount of people who are actually using that site. And if I was using, and as somebody who, has social media platforms, I want to know the demographics and the statistics of every single social media platform that I'm working with. That's how I run my business. If I go to Gettr and it's got the exact same number of followers on my Twitter or more, because it includes Twitter and Gettr followers, I'm not getting the actual information of what I'm getting done on Gettr, what I'm getting done on Twitter.
Right.
I also want to point out that Gettr has not only censored and lied to people using their site, but Gettr has also a lot of their funding come from not the best sources. A lot of their funding come from this Chinese billionaire who has old ties to informants in China.
Do you know his name?
I have to get his name. I can't
Okay.
pronounce it properly, but he's also, it's also, a lot of it is brought to us by Steve Bannon, who, here's the thing, I've met Steve Bannon,
What's
but I
he
don't
like?
trust him.
I feel like Steve Bannon looks like he smells like sweat.
He
He's
smells like
sweaty.
he smells like ash.
Oh, he smokes. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if he smokes. I've never seen him smoke, but he smells like ash all the time.
Okay.
And here's the thing. It's like, it's the same way I feel about Roger Stone. It's like, they were cool in person, but we know the shady history they're tied to. Like, for example, I actually like Roger Stone. That's the thing.
He
But
seems
Steve,
cool. I've met him a
no,
couple times.
he's very nice. But Steve Bannon, the entire time I was with him, he's like, "You should join the military. You should join the military." I'm like, "Well, I tried and
Wow.
I can't." And I'm like, he's like,
Why?
"Why
Why did he
not?"
tell you that?
He's very obsessed with the fact his daughter's in the military, and therefore everyone should join the military or the Marines or something. And I didn't want to say anything, but I'm very anti-war and very anti-industrialized military complex, and he was very confused by that. On top of that, like, I actually did apply to join the military,
You
and
didn't tell him that you're a full-time e-girl and you don't have time for that?
no, I didn't tell him that. I did apply to the military out of high school, and they denied me because of autism, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're actually very picky who they take in, because I wanted to be in the Navy like my grandfather. And so, but they said
Oh,
no. And Steve
wow.
Bannon, essentially, he was like, "You should be in the military. You should be in the military." I'm like, "No." Like, it was really weird. It was very strange.
Where did you meet him?
I met him in DC. Someone just thought my content was really good and thought I could work for Steve somehow. And just sent me to go talk to him. We had coffee at like this place he was staying at in DC. Or maybe he was visiting in DC. I don't know. It was very strange. But he had like a picture of his daughter, not even framed, like of her like with like this giant gun in her hands, just sitting on the fireplace mantle. And
That's what guys do, though. Guys are bad at framing photos. Like
it wasn't even
my
framed.
dad
He's like, "See my daughter?
would do that.
She's in the
Yeah,
military.
they don't really do
Fighting for
frames.
this country. You should join the military." I'm like, "Sir, how about no?" Like,
My dad
I
had this
don't.
picture of he had a framed picture of me and my mom. I always like, this is my favorite family memories, but framed picture of him and my mom. And then when he first started working as a Teamster, one of the first shows he worked on was Sex in the City, like first season, like probably what, 98, 99. And then so he had a picture of him and Sarah Jessica Parker, just exactly the picture, what you're talking about. No frame. He just rested it in front of the photo of him and my mom on the mantle. So yeah, the guys don't really frame photos. They're not big on like sentimental or nostalgia.
But it was just like weird. It was just like, but it's like, sir, I'm like, I preach about the like industrialized military complex. The whole reason I wanted to join out of high school. What?
Gray said you were denied for being soft and anxious. Dude, I'm totally titling this episode "Soft and Anxious." That's interesting though that you met him. That's very cool, Ashton.
He's very interesting. He was very odd. But would I trust him running a website that's anti-censorship? Absolutely not. He's a very
Is he
smart
running Gettr?
man.
Is he in charge of Gettr?
He's not in charge of Gettr, I don't think, but he's a part of it somehow. Okay. Also, not to mention the founder of it, the CEO is super weird, and I don't know. But basically, the first day of operation, July 4th, 2021, Gettr was quote unquote hacked, and a lot of user information was leaked.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Gettr is not a good place. It's based also my biggest issue with Gettr isn't even all of that. I mean, obviously it's really bad stuff, but it's the fact that it's another echo chamber. The whole reason Twitter sucks now is because it's a leftist echo chamber. Twitter is a Trump echo chamber. Like, we need more websites that are very much, they won't censor anyone. If you're left-wing, right-wing, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, anarchist, libertarian, communist, socialist, there should be a platform for absolutely everyone, because the best part about Twitter was yelling at each other. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The best part of Twitter was people debating each other all day and having conversations with each other and actually sharing information, which is what I'll get into now, which is the website that I work for, which is called Float. They have 7 simple rules. One is no doxing. You have to be 13 years or older to join. They don't allow child pornography, but they do allow pornography.
Oh, that's nice.
There has to be a hashtag on it that clarifies it's pornography. And that's basically it. I know there's more. Oh, there's no spam allowed. That's pretty much it. There's 7 simple rules. Their terms of use is not like this crazy long paragraph that you have to like scope over. Like, it's just a bullet points of 7 different things. And they don't censor anyone, and they welcome anyone left or right to join their platform. And my biggest takeaway from it is, who would you rather, trust, right? The website that's funded by a Chinese billionaire, or the website that's put together by 2 married anarchist hippies who live in an RV in Texas?
That's definitely what this website looks like. So this is at floatsocial.us.
It's at float.app. F-L-O-T.
Float.app?
Yeah, it's F-L-O-T-E.
Oops, all right.
F-L-O-T-E.app.
Okay. I want to share this other tweet because the first time I ever was made aware of Gettr not being that great was from Elijah Schaefer, and he's the one who mentioned to me that Nick Fuentes wasn't allowed, or he was banned off Gettr.
Why does everyone hate Nick Fuentes so much? Here's the thing.
I don't really understand him. The only thing I've heard about him is that he seems or is kind of gay, and I'm like, all right.
I mean,
big deal.
Even if you don't like his politics,
the
answer shouldn't be to ban him. It's not like he's obnoxious. Right. It's not like he's going around harassing people.
Yeah, what's the threat about? Like, why?
What's the threat of Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes isn't annoying.
Yeah,
he said,
Yeah, so that's what I've been hearing too for years. Oh, he's this horrible person. He triggers a lot of people, or he like the same event that Brandy Love was kicked out of. Like, Fuentes tried to like bust into the event. I
think it was CPAC.
Oh, CPAC, right.
Yeah, I don't like CPAC. So but you know what? Nick Fuentes, I don't agree with him on everything. I'm pretty sure he does not like me for the sake that I am an annoying e-girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he still have the right to have a platform and to say things. And it's just like, again, he doesn't spam people. He's not annoying. He doesn't go out into the street and just film people and act obnoxious. It's like, I think people like hear his name and they tie it to the whole Groyper movement. But really, I think Nick Fuentes is the smartest of all of them because he actually knows what he's talking about. He brings up history references. He brings up statistics and interesting. He actually is someone who can hold a conversation. Not saying anything bad about the Groyper movement.
What are the Groypers?
They're basically trolls.
Okay.
I would say they're basically like they all love Nick Fuentes, but Nick Fuentes is actually very intelligent. And despite me maybe not agreeing with everything he wants to do for this country, he's intelligent. You can't deny that the guy is smart and knows what he's talking about. And I like to listen to him sometimes because I do. Even though, again, I don't agree with everything, it's important to take in information you may not know or understand or may not even agree with.
From people who you might not like or agree with. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
but it's important to get all different sides and dynamics. And I think he's intelligent enough to give his side properly.
Yeah. And so if it weren't for this Nick Fuentes thing on Gettr and me hearing from Elijah, that he's not allowed, I wouldn't have known. And so here is Joe Rogan talking about Gettr. And so here's this tweet here from Elijah Schaefer. It's interesting that Joe Rogan is also suspicious of Gettr after learning about the Chinese funding, what you mentioned, follower inflation, blocking of political dissidents they disagree with, Fuentes, leftist dog whistles in terms of service, Democrat background of staff, and AWS servers. Does that mean Amazon servers?
Amazon is actually a server for Gettr. Yes, okay. I believe that's correct. I know for a fact Amazon servers are for Gettr. Gettr is using Amazon servers. Sorry, I can't. Sentences hard. English hard.
English is hard. Why can't I hear this?
Oh, is that Tim Dillon?
Oh yeah, I love him.
He lost weight. Good for him.
He did. Good for him. Wait, can anybody hear this? I can't hear it.
That this is mattering to.
Oh, here it goes.
Every day the internet's expanding. It seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And the people that have a platform online, a digital platform, seem to be getting more and more attention. So to me, isn't there an inevitable shift coming to where comics really are just going to have to compete digitally?
I think the digital aspect of it is the best way to promote themselves for sure.
Right.
Whether it's through putting their stuff online on a YouTube or a Rumble or Instagram or whatever they're doing, like
or Gettr, which you're now on. You're on Gettr. That's a news story.
Might be a
why
part
is
of
it
the
a news
Chinese
story?
Communist Party now, I believe.
Yeah. Why are you? It's a news story that you're on Gettr.
Well, the news story is their fucking amount of people that signed up increased by 1,150% or something.
Yeah, you have like 9 million followers on Gettr.
Yeah, it's not real though.
Is it not real?
Gettr doesn't even have 9 million people. No,
really?
Yeah. It's a lot of fuckery.
So there's fuckery with that.
This is where the fuckery is. They take all my Twitter followers. So my Twitter followers like 7.8 million.
You know what's ironic about this?
So I started out with 7.8 million.
But pause it.
So whatever I have now, if I
Joe Rogan, he helped promote Gettr.
Yeah.
And now he's calling it out within the same couple weeks. That's insane.
Yeah. Interesting, right? I want to see what else he says here.
8. It's like really I have 200,000.
So Gettr is fugazi, as they say.
Definitely fugazi. And every time I post on Twitter, it posts automatically on Gettr.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
that's actually a cool feature.
I wish that would do mine like that. I'm just like,
they do that on mines as well.
Okay.
And I wish they did that on Gab, and the Float is currently working on something similar. That is a cool feature, I think is cool. My issue is with the number copying. That's very weird.
Because you're making it look like that millions of people are on this app when they're not.
And again, the hacking, the information getting out, the user information being leaked, the fact that communist China is tied to Gettr, the fact that Steve Bannon is tied to Gettr, the fact that it's an echo chamber. It keeps adding. The fact that they don't even fight censorship because they themselves censor. It's just it's a giant just
a lot of red flags.
So many red flags. I don't like it.
In your tweets,
and I don't know how to get off. Like if I
don't know how to get off.
You have to sit down with Marjorie Taylor Greene personally,
and she's got to tell me all about what's in the basement of Comet Pizza.
She's got to take you down the rabbit hole.
I love it.
And you come out the other side.
Wait, so they won't let him leave? They won't let him leave Gettr like it's a cult?
But who knows? Maybe.
Can you delete your account on Gettr? If you can't delete your account, that's weird.
Who knows?
That's
there was a
weird.
Deal worked out. There was a deal. I mean, he did post to say everybody get on Gettr. So who knows if they gave him money for that? I mean, I can't.
But now he's like,
In it.
this is sus. Yeah.
That's funny though. I like the Comet Pizza reference. That's funny. So, but here's the problem. And I think this is going to be the same problem with every new platform that comes about. You're going to need major mega funding to start a new social media platform. And somebody with that kind of money is going to be, I think, politically one way or the other. So how do you're going to find just a neutral billionaire that's going to want to
just a pro free speech billionaire, I guess. I mean, again, the people who run Float, they're doing it out of pocket basically with a few donors. And they're just a couple of anarchist hippies who are true I mean, not even anarchist. I mean, I guess like, but they don't like calling themselves libertarian either. So, but they're just very much pro free speech. They want everyone to have a voice, everyone to have a platform. Communists, socialists, far right wing, fascist, Republican, Democrat, left wing, all of it. They want a space for everyone. And the problem is that they're not super big billionaires. And I wonder if we're ever, I don't think there are any super big billionaires who actually genuinely care about non-bias and free speech. And that's the issue, is that everything's compromised.
I think by the time you get it, you've made it and you're good. Like that's what's so kind of amazing about Joe Rogan, for how much money he's worth and how much money he makes and how successful he is. Like he could totally be a much bigger douchebag. I mean, he's not a douchebag at all. He could totally afford to be an asshole, and he's not. He's still just a regular guy. And so, yeah, I don't know. It seems like most rich people don't really care about anybody who's underneath them.
Yeah.
And it seems that's how politicians are too. Everybody in charge right now. So it's devastating. It's kind of upsetting though, because I was like, "Ooh, Gettr, I'm excited." And now we also have Trump's new platform called Truth Social, which is going to debut on President's Day, February 21st.
But then that's just another echo chamber, just Trump people. And the thing is, I like when people get mad at me. Like I love when I go on Twitter and I'm like, Israel's not our greatest ally. We should stop being in the Middle East. We should stop going to war. Honestly, my favorite part back in my MAGA days was when I would critique Trump and all the MAGA people would come at me like, I thought you were a Trump supporter, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I would have these honest and factual critiques about a president that I supported for the time. I no longer support him for the many reasons. And I would basically bring up, well, I don't like the fact that he didn't pardon Julian Assange. I didn't like the fact that he didn't pardon Ulbricht or Snowden yet. I didn't like the fact that he continues to send missiles in the Middle East. I don't like the fact that he continues to make excuses for Israel and pretend they're our greatest ally. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that he went against everything he promised he was going to do. In fact, I'm surprised that Trump still has a base based on, not following through with his promises. I'm surprised the alt-right even likes him. I'm surprised libertarians like him, because he hasn't kept any of his promises. It's absolutely insane. And I'm not going to vote for him. I'm probably not going to vote at all ever again, because Trump just proved to me to be a big disappointment.
Really? Ever again?
I don't know. I guess like the government's a sham. It's all a sham. I don't want to vote for someone to speak for me anymore.
Right.